Hi, I'm Eric with Revenue River. I'm here with my friend Gabe from Nextany. We're good agency friends, so I invited him up to visit our agency. There's only two problems with that, really. One, he's from Florida, and two, it's a blizzard here in Colorado. So right now, Gabe can't talk. Gabe, do you have anything to say? We're gonna go inside, film an episode of Coffee Talks, Gabe's podcast. He will be the host once his mouth unthaws, and we'll have a great conversation. Come on in and join us. Come on, Gabe, right this way. Come
All right, we're gonna do it one more time.
Looking at the camera?
Or looking
I
at
looked at you, and you looked at the camera.
I feel like 1, 2, 3.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Talks. We are here at Revenue River with Eric Pratt. Thank you for having us. Like, should we shake on it?
Absolutely. It's great to host a filming of the Coffee Talks.
There you go.
And it's certainly an honor to be a guest.
Thank you very much for being here. So, what are we doing here?
What is this, like a agency swap?
Agency swap.
Yeah. Agency swap is pretty much exactly how it sounds. We do a home and away series with our agency friends, and right now we're on the first half of the swap, which is you guys coming here to visit us. Here, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna fly down to Florida and visit you guys, and maybe do a coffee talk with.
We will.
Down there.
We'll do the same coffee talk that we're doing here, but at our office. We'll do exactly the same thing, but it'll be a different edit. Why do you do this? Why swapping agencies? Why sending people away and taking time off?
Why do we invest the money?
Yeah,
and
it's
time
a lot of
to
work.
Send our people to another
and then you tell them all your secrets and stuff.
For education, right? For sharing, for learning. Like, all of this stuff is about learning from each other at the core of it. And there's just a ton of really smart people, really creative people in this space. We've got some awesome peers. You and I have a lot of the same circle of agency friends, and it seems like everything we do as an agency, it's been influenced and inspired by stuff that our friends are doing.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Seems like everybody's doing the same thing, but everybody's doing it so differently that we found as an agency that the just different perspectives and different systems and different methodologies. Like, there's no real right or wrong way to do it. You can definitely point out some wrong ways to do it for sure, but that's most of the stuff that we've learned also, right? And we'll come down and do the same thing with you.
Definitely.
Share everything you do with us, and we'll like, this is cool, this is rad, this is dumb.
So, but why not thinking ourselves as competitors? We both do videos. We both do MarTech. We are heavily invested into HubSpot and the HubSpot platform and software partnerships. Like, why not see each other as competitors?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in one sense we are competitors. I look at us more as peers. And as a peer group, I think that's one of the things that I've valued most in being an agency owner is like the value of the peer group and the perspectives like we were talking about in the spirit of the swap. And I think there's way more opportunity for us to both grow separately than to compete against each other. And I mean, let's be honest, we don't really run into each other in the sales cycle.
Definitely not.
I mean, none of our peer group do you run into 2 out of 3 times in the sales process. And even if you did, it's really about fit.
Especially because it's snowing horizontally right now here, and in my town it's 90 degrees, so probably my customers are not going to be your customers.
Yeah, you work with a lot of a different type of industries, certainly verticals and stuff like that. So we've got some differentiation, even though we're doing similar things. So if we're doing similar things, why not learn from each other and apply it to our clients? Because that's what it's really all about, right? Is solving for our clients. So to me, every time we get to do something like this, we gain a little bit new perspective, changes our paradigm a little bit, and I hope that ends up with us doing a better job for our clients.
Definitely. So you guys are killing it this year. You're growing. You're investing a lot of video. You're a sales enablement powerhouse. What have you learned from 2019?
I think this year has been for us a little bit of like going back to basics. We've grown really, really fast for multiple years in a row, and it feels like sometimes it feels like the wheels are falling off a little bit. So we're really trying to reinvent within our model. We have 3 big initiatives for the year: leveling up, demonstrating success and reducing friction. I would say we've really done well on the demonstrating success. We invested really a lot of man hours into just like telling our story, telling our client success story, trying to gain more third-party affirmation and recognition. I think we've won 5 HubSpot Impact Awards so far this year, and we still got a quarter left and designs on more. So like that's one example. We've won a couple really cool awards this year, also some really cool recognition. So I think that demonstrating success piece is really
definitely. Why don't you talk more about the reducing friction?
Yeah, because the other side of the coin, I think the reducing friction thing is probably the thing we've struggled the most with. Like I would, in some regards, that's been a success. In some regards, that's been a real struggle. Like it's hard. It's hard to grind through the hard stuff. Right?
Also, everybody talks about reducing friction. It's easy to talk about reducing friction. Yeah, there's a flywheel, and then you put some oil, and you're good to go. But how do you reduce friction?
Yeah, I see friction a little bit differently. Maybe I think it's really about trying to make things easier to perform better, right? Like how do we become more efficient and effective for our clients? So how do we make it easier for our clients to work with us? How do we make it easier to work together? Which in our business model and like our agency structure, we can make it really, really hard because we have so many different people and so many different specialized
moving
roles,
parts,
so many moving parts, so much communication. Anytime you have more than 2 people in a conversation, communication is going to be a complaint, right? So let's throw 14 people at it and see what happens. Right? So I think we've created a lot of our own friction in an attempt to do cooler, deeper, more complex, more meaningful work. But that's not easy, right? Like if it was easy, everybody would do it. So we've chosen sort of a hard path in that regard, and I think it creates a lot of our friction. I think we're really good at attempting to address it. I just don't know that we really necessarily mastered the effectiveness of the changes and stuff like that, right? Like it's hard work, and you got to slog through change. Like change isn't easy, but we know we have to change if we want to keep growing, and as we try to continue to get better and go upstream and solve more complex challenges for bigger, more complex clients.
Yeah.
Like, we can't stay the same or we're going to go backwards. So I think we do a really good job of like embracing that reality. But then it's like every decision you make, there's no such thing as like a 10-0 win. Everything's like a 6-4. You're trying to get a net positive, not a net negative out of all of your change, but it's really easy to play armchair quarterback, and it's really easy when you've got a massive amount of opinions. It doesn't matter what you do. You probably understand this also. It doesn't matter what you do. Somebody thinks you're an idiot.
You said quarterback. Please don't do any sport mentions because I wasn't born here, so I don't understand absolutely any of them.
Oh,
tell me another one. How would you say
soccer or something like that? Right?
It's not called soccer. It's actually football.
Oh, football.
We invented football, and then you use that word, but we're not going to get into that.
Sure.
Don't worry about it. It's interesting. You're talking about friction inside your agency, and that's something that we are all trying to do, trying to make it as easy as possible. At the same time, not justify convenience by reducing processes. You have following your processes and your systems and stuff like that, and then you have convenience, and you have to kind of find that happy medium, right?
Sure.
Now, are you helping your customers reduce friction on their process? Because that is something that we can also help with. How do you do that? How do you communicate that to a customer?
Yeah, I think it's 2 parts. I think we should be trying to reduce friction for our customers, but we should also be trying to reduce friction for their prospecting customers.
Exactly.
Right? So you talk about reducing friction like in the buyer's journey. That's very like client customer centric. But then I also think in the world we live in and how much technology we use, like a lot of the friction we can address is like lack of visibility, lack of capabilities. How do we eliminate manual processes? How do we help with like the process from prospect to customer to fulfillment, right? Like how do we help our clients improve their customer experience, their buying process? Like there's a lot of things we can do internally, systematically, right? Like by banning a lot of really cool pieces of technology, getting them all talking together, getting them reporting. Like if you're the CEO and you can't see the right numbers, how do you make decisions?
Exactly.
So a lot of what we do is about like empowering people to be more effective in their job roles, whether they're a salesperson, it makes it easier and more effective for them to be salespeople, qualifying leads for them, routing properly, giving them the tools they need to overcome objections and support their claims, like things of that nature. And then certainly from an executive perspective, like visibility is so important, and things are happening so fast that the ability to be able to project and forecast based off your numbers is really obviously critical. It never ceases to amaze me how many of our clients like have serious gaps in that. And so to me, reducing friction is to really address those gaps, address those pain points, help them be smarter at doing business.
That's awesome. And I want to go back to change, because you mentioned change, and change is such part of our culture and everything we do. How do you get other people to embrace change? Do you need to get other people to embrace change? Do you need to attract people that embrace change by default? Like, it's hard, right? Because embracing change is the opposite of what most people want to do, right?
Super hard. Everybody resists change,
Yep.
right? Fear of the unknown. I feel like everything we do as an agency has to be addressing change management. I think it's really important that leadership comes from really high up in the organization. I'm sure your agency has a lot of experience with this. We certainly do. Where sometimes there's like our point contact, the person that hires us, really wants to change, but then none of the sales team does. The IT team fights everything.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The CEO doesn't even know what's going on or how it connects or why it matters, and it's really hard to truly affect organizational change if you don't have a large degree of buy-in. The other thing I think is, like, as an agency, one of the things we're trying to get better at is targeting the right kind of people with the right kind of message, of course. And literally, I think like our ideal client profile is a change agent. There's someone in an organization that has a vision, understands that the current state is not the ideal state, and they want to get from here to there.
That's it.
And they need help. And so for us, we really want to position ourselves as like that technical expertise and strategic expertise to sort of be their guide through that change. But it's really important that they have influence and some control beyond their job role. They're inevitably fighting change internally, so our clients have an internal struggle for change, and I think it's our job to help them through that.
Fighting in action, right?
To address the objections, to go after the points of pain, to equip those change agents with the things that they need to sell their case and vision through the organization, and then of course like the horsepower to be able to execute the plan once you get it sold. So it's like a big deal. Just because you sell a client doesn't mean you can necessarily sell a plan through the organization.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of selling, a lot of vision casting, a lot of change management and change leadership, I think.
The other thing that we share is the love of software, and I think it comes from a place of solving for the customer and making sure that we're being as efficient as possible. Instead of charging you many hours of work, if we can solve this problem with software, then we'll do that.
I see our agencies similar in that, like we're solutions architects. So we come in and understand what the current state is, what the desired state is, what the issues are, where the gaps are, where it's broke, where there's opportunity to make it better, and then we, I think, really embrace the idea of putting technology to work to solve the
problems.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Awesome.
I really appreciate you.
Me too. You're a good friend.
I've really enjoyed being a guest on Coffee Talk.
This has been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Have you ever considered renaming it?
Maybe Cappuccino Talks.
Ooh,
that
be much
sounds
more sophisticated. Yeah.
Software company
And also
ringing a bell.
Italian, right?
Thank you, Eric.
Yes.
It was a pleasure to have you here.
Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you very
Great
much
to have
for
you out.
all of the great hospitality, the amazing snow out there, and you're great people too.
Yeah, it's been
Awesome.
good, man.
It's been
We'll
awesome.
go come visit you in a couple weeks.
Take it easy.
Awesome.
Have a good one.